Welcome to another CEO Wisdom podcast with Suze Yalof Schwartz. She is founder and CEO at Unplug. We're going to talk about meditations, drop-in modern meditations, and so forth. She has a studio as well. Corporate events, wellness events, meditation apps, and everything in between. Quite excited about that one. This podcast is brought to you by podpire.com. If you want to start, scale, be invited to podcasts like this one, or even find sponsors, podcasts are the way to go. 2023 and the years to come, I believe that, it will be the number one way to meet new people and grow your network and even get some leads and clients. So podpire.com if you need help with that. Suze, welcome to the pod. Can you tell me a bit more about yourself and a bit more about Unplug?
Well, thank you, Charles, for having me on your podcast. Really excited to be on. Unplug is the world's first drop-in meditation studio. We opened up our doors in April of 2014, and I started it because I was stressed out, like most people. And someone taught me how to meditate in a very simple and easy way. And then when I wanted to learn more, I found it to be very long and complicated. So I went on a quest to simplify meditation to make it both powerful and impactful in the shortest amount of time. So I found like the best teachers in the country, invited them to teach at the studio. And as I've grown with meditation, so has my business, so has the studio. We now are mindfulness, guided visualization, hypnosis, sound bath, breath work, and everything in between. We do a lot of different things at Unplug. And we also have a book, an app, a teacher training program, a corporate wellness program. And I love all things meditation. I think the more people meditate, the better the world will be.
I do think so as well. Before talking about how to meditate in a world of chaos and with the recent events, and probably sending prayers to these folks. Tell me about the change that occurred in you since you started meditating. Like, how was the stressed out stress Suze, we could call her, and up to today? Like, what has been the change and how did you get there?
I think the biggest change has been the fact that I can actually control my emotions as I'm experiencing them. Usually, and before, stressed Suze would get triggered and then scorch the village and take it out on everyone, like we all do. We all get upset by things and then we get angry and then we kind of take it out on other people. It's called secondhand stress. I don't experience that anymore. I don't allow other people's stress to stress me, and I don't stress other people with my stress. And the reason why I'm capable of doing that is because I've learned so many tools on how to actually pause in those moments, take a breath, and then respond as opposed to react. That is one of the biggest gifts. The other one is little things that used to bother me, the very simple, silly things like people moving too slowly or not getting what I want right when I wanted it, or things like this. They don't bother me anymore. I'm much more patient. I'm much more relaxed. I'm not bothered by silly little things because I can actually see that is exactly what they are. And I also am able to form like deeper connections with people and have a little more awareness around not only myself and my ripple, but, being compassionate and understanding even when I disagree with other people, trying to be able to actually see their side and empathize. And these are just some of the gifts. But maybe for work, the greatest gift is when you don't meditate, you're really not able to focus when you need to. Sometimes you're so distracted, especially in this digital age. And now I'm able to notice when I actually am distracted and stop that distraction and focus and be much more productive because of it.
Love that. And what led you to that? What routine of meditation? Is there like specific meditations that you tried and were particularly effective with your brain?
There are more meditations than there are types of food on this planet. I know that sounds huge, and it is huge. And I've done almost all of them. But fundamentally, they all are the same three things. The first thing is we bring our awareness to our breath. The second thing is we anchor in the present moment and we're aware we're present in the present moment. And then the third thing that happens in every single meditation, no matter what type you do, is your mind will wander, because we have 5,000 to 80,000 thoughts every single day. That's a lot of thoughts. And the more we actually notice our thoughts, the more beneficial it is for us, because instead of them running in the background, pre-programmed on autopilot, we're able to notice, oh, that's a thought that's not serving me. Let me let go of it, come back to the present moment. So in answer to your question, I've done every single kind of meditation, and that's what's actually kept me consistent, is the variety. I've done, transcendental, Vedic, mindfulness, Zen, mantra, guided visualizations, everything. But for me, I actually really appreciate the variety. I don't want to eat the same type of food every single day, and I don't want to meditate the same way every single day.
Would there be such an app that would detect the user's psychometrics and potentially demographics, and even cap their brain waves or facial expressions, and determine what meditation is ideal for them? Because I feel it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack for most people. A lot of people, they give up before they find the right fit for them. I think the app that is somewhat the closest to that in my specific case, well, Headspace has been great, but Apple Fitness is also good. And for example, I find that it's after an intensive sports session that I can get really deep, or under psychedelics, for example, on mushrooms, I can almost get instantly in a very deep meditative state that sometimes I can't achieve after a 10-day silent meditation retreat. So how could people find their zone and their grooves faster is my question.
I think that is a phenomenal question, because you said a couple of interesting things there. You either have to completely exhaust yourself to relax enough to be able to meditate. So that's after sport. Or you have to take something external to get to the place where you want to go internally. And I think the difference, or when you go to a meditation retreat, it's usually so long and it takes you a long time to get there. These are all things that people think are actually true, but they're not actually true. So what happens is, if you understand that your thoughts are actually a part of meditating, that's the bicep curl that we do for the brain that actually grows the physical structure of our brain, noticing what our thoughts are and being aware of them, and yet still choosing to come back into the present moment, to begin again, to breathe. That is the gift. So I would say to someone like that, one, you do not have to meditate for long periods of time in order for it to be effective. Two, start tiny. Give yourself 1 minute of breathing where you are consciously breathing. And then anything you do above that can be considered extra credit. And when you do that, it's like you give yourself permission to not fail. Because when it's so tiny, you're going to be successful. Yes, you're going to be able to notice a breath. You're going to be able to notice your thought, and you're going to be able to come back to your breath. That's how you train. You can't do an Ironman, and I see that you've done 3. Is that true? You can't just decide, oh, I'm going to do an Ironman tomorrow. Like if I decided to do the Ironman tomorrow, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to be good at it. I'm going to do it one time and I'm going to die and fail, right? But if I train a little bit every single day and I prep myself and I start building on that, I could probably crush it, just like you can with meditation. So you don't have to go like I consider a silent retreat like the Ironman for meditation. To go from 0 to that, you probably will, be done after that, because you'll be like, okay, that's not for me. But if you go tiny and you build it up, build it up, build it up, you might even want to do that at the end.
Yeah, for me specifically with my ambitions, the 10-day silent retreat is just way too much. There's just so much more that I can do with this time, because everything's about opportunity cost and evaluating how can I take this bit of energy and convert it into 100x energy or impact in my case. And yeah, just it's not hoping, it's just, I'm definitely picturing a Neuralink that would shut my brain down at least 10 minutes or 20 minutes a day. And I very much picture me operating pretty much like easily 20 hours a day with only 5 hours of sleep, with just something that would get me like deep into recovery zone really quickly. It
Right.
sounds really robotic, but I can picture that. And the short-term version of that, some people do microdosing and so forth, or because me, yes, I see psychedelics as medicine, but the evolution of that is me seeing these as technology, like literally technology that you can use to improve yourself as a biohacker. And if you can shortcut, I mean, these things are risky, right? And therefore experience people. I've done them multiple times, and I think my brain juggles really well with adversity. They're not for everyone. But to me, it's like, okay, they're going to cost me very few, and they can instantly get me to the destination so that I can start healing very quickly. That doesn't mean that I need to give up meditation, which I did, unfortunately. Every time there's stress in my life, like meditation goes through the door, sadly.
Right.
So a question I have for you is like, how can I make sure that doesn't happen? And if meditation would be important enough, would it not take the door? Or am I meditating in some other ways? For example, I finish a workout on the roof and I just look at the mountains and chill in the sky and the stars.
I love that you say this, because you don't need to microdose or trip on mushrooms or LSD or whatever you choose to hit that space. And you don't need to make it long to be able to regroup and relax. And you don't need to shut off your brain to recuperate and rejuvenate. Okay. That's, first of all, the only way to totally shut your brain down is to flatline. And that means you are no longer living. Our brains are designed to move. But what happens is you can train your brain. The key is to do small increments. So for, like you said, when I'm in crisis mode, my meditation goes out the door. But a lot of people are actually crisis meditators. Those are meditators who meditate when they have a crisis and they want to do something that's going to stop stress, or want to do something that's going to stop depression, anxiety, whatever, pain. And that's doable with a 10-minute practice. Can I share my screen with you?
Yes, you can.
Is this actually going to be a video, or are we just, is it an audio only?
Video, yeah. So people are
great.
gonna see your
Okay.
screen. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so let me just share my screen.
Yeah.
I think you're going to like this.
Cool.
And I'm going to show you what I do every day. So for instance, for me, you couldn't pay me to get out of bed before I meditate, because I know I'm operating on a more optimal level when I wake up and I'm more intentional with my day. I end up having a more intentional day. When I wake up and I slow myself down and I look at the positive quote of the day, which is what happens when you open up the Unplug app first thing, then I plant the seeds of positivity instead of looking at the news or looking at an email and letting other people control my day. I control my day. So I open up the Unplug app. And what I do to make it really simple, and this is an answer to your question, is I go to the monthly challenge, which is right here. And I basically do whatever they say in the day, whatever it is. I don't take a vote. Should I or shouldn't I? Because guess what? I'll lose. It's kind of like working out. If I say, oh, I'll work out later in the afternoon, it's never going to happen. If I wake up and I meditate and then I go work out, guess what? That happens. But if I skip that step, it's not going to happen. So I wake up, I open up the Unplug app. This is just what I do. You could do whatever you want. Because I know the teachers are good. We film them all inside of our Los Angeles studio. They're very edited so that they quickly can get you to that place where you want to go. And I just do the meditation of the day, and it checks the box every single day. And as someone who's more type A, having a challenge every single month keeps me consistent. And as you can see, some people will be listening to this. I've meditated every single day for 901 days without missing a day. That's my streak. So I'm not just saying this, I'm doing this. And what I'm noticing is that when you don't take a vote and when you just do it, just like working out, you start to see the change. So for me, you can like discover courses or you can try it. And what's cool about the Unplug app and different from all the other apps is that you can actually find a teacher who resonates with you. So sometimes you go to an app and it's one voice and you're like, I don't really like that voice. Here, it's a video. You feel connected to the teacher and you're listening to their voice and you're like, whoa, they're speaking my language. I love all of them. I personally hired all of them. So there's 130 of them. There's 1,300 videos. And at the bottom, as you can see, we have a meditation for that. You can type in anything that you're feeling, and I'm going to stop share now. You could type in anything that you're feeling and find the meditation for that. Overwhelm, anxiety, public speaking, catnap for rejuvenation, before you win a match. We have something for everyone.
I got one question, then special request after that. So I just downloaded the app and I'm gonna try it out for sure. It looks pretty cool here. So when terrible events happen, like what we've seen recently in Israel with Hamas happened, like how can we stabilize ourselves and deal with that chaos and accept emotionally these things and kind of heal and move forward with this?
That is a beautiful question. Will we ever be able to erase the things that we've seen? Probably not. But again, you have a choice of what goes into your brain. There is a poem that is called, how does it go? It goes, your mind is a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds. You can plant flowers or you can plant weeds. So yes, what is happening right now is beyond horrific. However, we have a choice. Do I want to be hooked to the news 24/7 and freak out and let my nervous system get the best of me? Or do I want to know what's going on? I can watch 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening, and then actively and consciously choose to try to stay present in the present moment where I am. And if I do want to get involved by, donating my time or donating my money or donating whatever resources I can possibly do to help, by all means, take a moment and do that as well. But when you get consumed by, the other people's thoughts and triggered by everything everybody else is saying, because we feel that way, you have a choice. Breathe in those moments. So there are different techniques that you can use. One of my favorite is the 16-second breath that I learned from David G. It's the box breath. I don't know. Have you done that before?
Yeah, a lot. One of my favorite. So simple.
Because for your audience who's listening, breathing in through the nose for 4 seconds, holding your breath for 4 seconds, audible exhale out for 4 seconds, and hold for 4 seconds. What that does is that is a pattern interrupt. We interrupt the pattern of stress. We count and breathe so we can't think at the same time. So it immediately redirects your brain into the present moment. And you could just repeat that a few times, because when you slow down your breath, you send a signal to your brain that everything's okay, even when it isn't. So when you do that, I have a friend right now who actually is in Israel, and she's like going to the bomb shelter in her building all the time. And, I've been live with her and I'm like, let's do that. Or let's visualize ourselves somewhere else right now, because where you are is dangerous and it's awful, but there's actually nothing you can do at this moment except for be in that bomb shelter. So visualize your happy place. So she took a moment and visualized herself on a roof garden with her friend, and she really felt that she was there. Our minds don't know what's real and what's not real, so we can actually redirect our minds.
And we finish off with 5 to 7 minutes guided meditation. Can you do that for us?
Yeah, sure. Any special requests?
Maybe, yeah, just for what's happening out there.
Okay,
And
sure.
yeah, the focus, a focus on focus
Oh.
amidst chaos.
Okay, so what we can do, and I did not rehearse this, is we're going to do an inner peace and world peace meditation. How about that?
That's great.
In chaos, we know times are happening around us right now, and they're actually beyond our control as an individual. But collectively, we have a moral responsibility to ourselves and to everyone who comes in contact with us to try to be as calm as possible in the chaos. So, taking a moment to just close your eyes if you feel comfortable. If not, just rest your gaze slowly on the ground in front of you. And let's slow down our breath by breathing into the count of 4, 2, 3, 4, and holding our breath for 4 seconds. 2, 3, 4, and an audible exhale out. I'd like to hear it, relaxing your face, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your body. Just let it go. And hold. 2, 3, 4. And now placing your hand on your heart and just thanking your heart for a second for beating 100,000 times a day without you having to do anything. Your heart is there for you, and now you're going to just give it a little gratitude and appreciation. And noises will happen outside of us. But right now, we're going to access what's inside of us by going a little bit deeper and just taking a moment to thank our heart for beating, keeping us alive. We're so lucky to be alive today. Not everybody else got to be here, but we did. Maybe asking yourself this one question: what does my heart need from me right now? Maybe noticing one quality that you love about you. It could be that your heart beats, it could be that you're kind, whatever it is, one quality about you that you love. And just thank yourself for the quality. As our chest rises and falls, we can thank our lungs for the 20,000 breaths we take every day. We're just going to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And when we breathe in, we're going to say in silently to ourselves. And on the exhale, letting go. Just say letting go. In. And just really letting go of all the fear and feelings just for this moment. I'm going to anchor into the peace inside of you. Maybe saying silently to yourself, I am on the inhale, peaceful on the exhale. What does that look like to you when you are peaceful? And now taking a moment, placing your hand on your heart still, and sharing that peace, if you could give it to anyone in the world right now, one individual we'll start with, who would you like to pass that baton of peace to right now? Maybe it's a friend who's suffering, someone you know, someone you don't. Just imagine giving them a hug and sharing your peace. And next, taking a moment and trying to sprinkle your peace. Imagine projecting it out into the world where people need it most. Wrapping the globe in a bubble of peace. And wouldn't that be beautiful? And when you're ready, you can drop your hands, wiggle your toes, and gently open your eyes. And inner peace breeds outer peace.
Thank you for that.
Welcome.
I had thoughts in the meditation as usual.
That's normal. You're human.
Isn't it unfair that someone can take your life just like this?
Yes, it is.
And what is on the other side, That these are two questions that I had, but yeah,
What is on the other side of what?
of death. The
Oh,
the $1 trillion question.
well,
Um,
I mean, if you're asking me what I believe, it would be that we are eternal and
mm,
that we, with or without, this body is just our outfit for this lifetime, in my opinion.
I agree.
People always say death is just a change of clothing. And I really like that expression. Because, I don't know if you've ever been with someone who has passed, but you really
Yes.
do feel that separation between the body and consciousness.
Mm,
So it doesn't die. Energy doesn't die.
right. I agree with that. Beautiful meditation, and yet let's wish that we can build more than we can destroy. The final thought here. And if you want to go try an amazing app, you can search for Unplugged, like I did on
Unplug.
Unplug on
Yes.
the App Store, and try out Suze's app. Where can people find out more about you other than going to the App Store?
Unplug.com. You'll see everything, or you can follow me at Suze Yalof Schwartz on Instagram.